Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Painless Universal Conversation with myself and Welsh. Well, today's conversation is really about the human design, finding out who you truly are to give the right energy to people around you. How do you overcome your pain and challenges through your human design? Well, my guest, Miranda Mitchell, will be telling you what the human design is, its purpose, and why knowing your human design makes such a difference in the way you evolve your energy level with others. But let me tell you a little bit about what she does. Miranda Mitchell, she's an energetic alignment coach. She's about finding your authentic self through human design, uncovering your energy blueprints through your human design. She believes when you align your energetic blueprints, it becomes easier to have a successful business. She focuses on asking you the question, are you tired of pushing through, making things happen with low success rates? She'll be telling you how to make an impact and how to end those obstacles in your way. She came from a painful upbringing from the tender age of 14 when she left her home. She'll be talking about those her painful past, abusive relationship, and how that has led her to the part she is today. Meet my amazing guest, Miranda, as she shares her amazing story. So hello everyone and welcome again to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. This conversation is all about dealing with pain and finding your joy, finding your own inner strengths and ways to make yourself a better person so you could help the lives of others. My guest, as I said in my introduction, Miranda, she'll be telling us her own journey. And one thing that we're so fascinated about is the concept she calls the human design. How do you find yourself? How do you believe that you could be anything if you understand what your human design is truly made of? Meet my wonderful guest, Miranda, as she shares her story. How are you today?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
I am super excited to have you because your work is not quite, it's known if you read your work, but not a lot of people know about this human design, what it is, how do we tune ourselves to take a step back, go into that peaceful moment to understand what is truly our own calling and how can we make a difference. And that didn't always start easy for you. Before you started reaching out, helping people, helping, empowering lots of women, because I noticed you're big on empowering women. You first went through your own difficult background to find your own peace. Before we get started, Miranda, who are you?
I'm Miranda Mitchell, and I'm a human design specialist and energetic alignment coach. So I really work with leaders and professionals in their industry, align with themselves energetically so they know who they are personally, so they create more impact in a bold way that's authentic to who they are.
Your early beginnings started at, when you started recalling your early beginnings, you remember this from a tender age of 14, and you said in your bio, you said, I moved out and started living with friends, boyfriends, and lived in the car for a while. When you look back, can you think about what made you make that decision at such a tender age of 14?
I always knew I was in the wrong place, or I was different than my family. I always wanted to go out and do more. And I knew that I was kind of limited. I always felt limited in where we were. We lived in Vermont. I'm the oldest of 6. We at times did not have water, like hot water, electricity. They loved to live off the land, which I do appreciate now. But at that time, I did not. I wanted to be near my friends and learn and go do things. So I always knew that for some reason, I wanted to do more than what I was doing. However, I did it in a way that was not healthy, at 14. So I moved out. I started living with boyfriends. I started drinking. I started just being all in the external flow of things rather than really looking within, which at 14, you can't really do that, you know? So I was just learning about myself.
Was it a bold move? Were you really frightening about you making this bold move at 14, or did you just not think about it, just went for it?
I didn't think about it. I just knew. I just knew that I needed to get out of there, that I didn't feel safe. I mean, I didn't feel secure and safe there. There were things that happened within the family with my uncle, and there was no security. There was no support. We weren't made to go to school. You know, as a child, we say we don't want that support, but we really do need that support. So I just knew it was the best thing for me, and I didn't even think about it. I just left.
I like what you know, when you read your life, because you said you found yourself when you left and you started getting older, you then found yourself in numerous relationships, also lots of domestic violence. You had no self-love, what, you know, nothing. You just didn't believe in yourself. You didn't think there was any value in yourself. What were those times like for you when you started to get into those older stage where you started getting those domestic abuse? You realized that actually home is bad, that the outer world is also as bad as home can be.
I didn't think of it as bad at that moment. I was still thinking of it as me trying to get out, me trying to find who I was. And not, you know, even though they were hard times, there were great experiences and lessons within each experience. Like, I know wholeheartedly that each one of my children were given to me to save me from whatever part of life I was in. They were given to me to slow down, to reflect, to have a purpose. And I really truly feel like I've been taken care of, that that they were like, my guides were like, okay, you know what, you're doing this kind of a mess, so I'm going to give you someone to see that there is a meaning, you know, slow down, really take it in. So I do feel like within every experience, even the difficult ones, I wouldn't change them. They were given to me for a reason, and I definitely learned from them. And I do feel now the reason was so I can help other people. I have almost all experiences with like domestic violence, cutting myself, wanting to die. Like there's so many things I've experienced, and I don't judge at all because I felt it. So I feel like I have empathy for people. Like, you know, the messy is really where you learn. And I've had a lot of mess, so I must be really wise.
That is true. I would definitely give you a thumbs up for that. The messy is really where you learn. A lot of people are so afraid of the mess because they think it would just destroy you. It would take away your strength. It would define you. But you've never let that define you. When did you find the strength in you, especially when you were going through that abuse, you know, the domestic abuse, you know, violence in relationship? Where did you find the strength to say enough?
It's very interesting because if you go into your human design chart, so your human design chart or blueprint is imprinted it's imprinted by your birth date, birth time, and birthplace. So within that chart, there's different areas in your life where there's key points of either you change, become aware of things, or shift. So the first Saturn return is in between the ages of 28 and 32. This is when I was in my marriage. I had my two sons, and I just remember making the conscious choice of, I am not going to let my kids think this is okay. And I had to plan for an entire year. I had to get permission to get a job, a part-time job. Then I had to get permission to get like a full-time job. He would make me call out and or not call out, just not show up, hoping I would get fired. So I had to plan this for an entire year on how to get me and my kids out safely. And I don't know what gave me the courage, but I just knew at that point in time, my kids are not going to think this is okay. I need to do this so that they are raised in a way that is loving, which even comes back to, I did it for my kids and I didn't do it for myself. So I still didn't even love myself at that point. I was still doing everything for my kids, which is wonderful. But when I realized that and started tuning in, I need to do this for myself too, that was an empowering moment. Because, as parents, we do anything for our kids, but what about you?
You talk a lot about yoga. You say your healing journey of self-discovery and healing took many years. It's not something that just happened overnight. It took so many years for you to really start understanding this. But the biggest shift occurred for you through the practice of yoga, breath work. I'm thinking, how did that change your life? And who introduced you to this whole practice of yoga and breath work?
Yeah, it's, you're kind of guided. So I was a personal trainer for 20 years. So I worked on the physical body, the strength. And as I was doing this, I was raising my boys. I had to be strong, right? So a client of mine actually brought up yoga to me. I was like, oh, you should just go practice yoga. It will help with flexibility and, it helps you slow down. So I started going to yoga classes and I loved the way I felt afterwards, because in Shavasana, I would rest and my mind would be clear and I wouldn't be thinking of what to do next. My body would be tired and I would just be releasing. And I started going more often to yoga than to working out because of the way that I was feeling. And then I realized that I wanted to start helping people really love themselves. I felt like personal training for me, a lot of it were people that were unhappy with their bodies and they were constantly unhappy, trying to be something different, trying to be leaner, trying to, and I wanted to really work with people on loving themselves, no matter what you look like, no matter what size you were. So then from that point, I started doing my teacher trainings and started to go deep within. And what it gave me was the time and silence to work on myself. Whereas when you're in the external world, running from place to place, you're dealing with other people's energies, you're dealing with other people, but you're not really looking within. So yoga really gave me the time to look within and gave me the opportunity to say, oh, you're living this life that you're not happy in. You're just staying here because it's safe. You feel comfortable. So it gave me the opportunity to not only slow down, but it gave me the opportunity to then choose differently.
I would never think yoga would give one that opportunity, but I've heard so many positive feedback from most of my friends who do yoga and how that relaxes them. And how did this take you on this journey to the quantum human design? I have to ask you, Miranda, what is this and how did this whole thing get started?
Well, human design actually was downloaded by a man named Ra in 1987 in Spain during a supernova. He received 8 days of this download. He was told in this process that this was a gift for our children, because our children, so we could teach our children to live more in an energetic alignment, because we were killing the planet, that we aren't living aligned. So he made it his work to bring it out to the masses, to teach people. But at that point in time, not a lot of people were interested in energetics or interested in those types of things, right? So then Karen, who is my teacher, she studied with Ra. And after his passing, she created quantum human design because of the vibrational wording. She did tests on the vibration of the words that we use. So she changed some of the gate activations and the gate names to high vibrational wording so that we can step into a fuller potential of who we truly are. Wow. So human design, really, I mentioned how you get it, but really what it does is it prints out this blueprint for you, and you can actually see in tangible form where you have consistent energy, where you have variable energy, And then you even see your life themes. And that actually was the aha moment for me, because when I learned my human design and I went into my gate of struggle,
Yes.
gate of struggle was predominant in my chart. And I was like, seriously? Okay. So every struggle, every experience I had was for me. And it was a reason for me I had to choose whether it was worth fighting for or whether it wasn't worth fighting for. So that is my life. I have a life of challenges, and it's me learning how to learn from those challenges. And then within that chart, it even goes into what you're here to speak about, what you're here to share. And it's my challenges. I'm here to share my struggles so that people can see that everything doesn't have to be all perfect, that everyone has struggles,
Yes.
and it doesn't have to define you.
No, absolutely. I think, and I love that's one thing I love about your work, Miranda, is that you talk so openly about challenges and struggles, our pain. It doesn't matter what you're going through, but that doesn't have to make you the person you need to be in the future. You can own it and say, yes, I've been through this. All these challenges has happened to me, but I'm not going to use those terms to define myself. And how do people find their purpose through this human design?
So when you print out the chart and you see your chart, there are archetypes with the planets. So when you look at the planet, or I'm sorry, the Earth, you'll see a gate activation there. And within that gate activation, there's a theme. So you look at your theme and you see what you need to do to stay grounded to this physical form. Then the sun is the energy that you're here to be. So when I think of purpose and the way that I teach purpose, it is not what you do in life. Purpose is really the energy that you be. It's the energy that you're really here to be. And if we were all aligned energetically, we would all be the energy that we're here to be, which would then align the planet. We're so out of alignment, that not everyone is stepping into who they truly are. But you can really learn about what energy you're here to be, what energy you're here to give to those around you. And just so I clarify that, like in my sun, the two gates in my sun are realignment, which is all about energetics, aligning energy, frequency, and wisdom. Like wisdom is what I'm here to share. So when you dive into your chart, you can see your themes, what lessons you're here to learn, and how you can bring that out in a way to help others.
You talked a lot about creativity. You said to create the life you have, to create the life you have to first understand your creativity isn't about what we know. Because a lot of times we live in this world where we think we know it all or we have it all figured out. It's about becoming aware of who you are authentically and then stepping into that potential that you already have. That is such big meaning here. It's stepping into that potential that you already have. So could you help me describe, for anyone who don't understand, how can we find who we truly are and step into our potential to become a better person?
Yeah, so the way that worked for me and the way that I've helped people is through deconditioning. So really what that means is first get your chart, right? See what your chart, what type are you as far as the 5 types. Notice where you have consistent energy and where you have variable energy, because where you have variable energy is where you take in other people's energy. And this is where usually a lot of the beliefs are created. And I can give an example of the G center, because that is a very powerful one. The G center in the chart is all about love, direction, and identity. So if that G center is open and is variable, the people that you are around, you're taking in their identity. You're taking in things from the environment. So every time you move around different people, you change, which can then cause you to question, who am I? Like, why do I change when I'm around different people? Do I even know who I am? Am I lovable? I keep changing. I don't even know who I am.
Mm.
So by learning where you have variable energy, you can, at least for me, I was able to instantly say, that's part of who I am. Like, I am able to take in other people's identity, resonate with them, and really know who they truly are. That is a gift. That's not a struggle, right? So once you realize where you have variable and consistent energy, you get to see who you truly are and where you have conditioning from the world, where you created beliefs about yourself because of your experiences and the people that you're around. And then from there, that is where you create that potential, because then you can step boldly into who you truly are.
You've explained it so well, and all of a sudden, I came here clueless, not knowing exactly what the human design was. But you just explained it so well. I'm so happy we're having this conversation, because this is something a lot of people will fail to realize, that where we're channeling energy, what kind of energy we have, how to make it, and those kind of energy also takes a lot from people. And that's why we're not good, and we feel we're not good enough, we're not doing our best. Maybe it's probably because we're not giving the right energy out as well. So let me ask you about dealing with challenges of not the human energy and the human design, but now it's about, you talk a lot about challenges of founding a company. You're very big about this. You say one of the big challenges most people don't talk about a lot about is that when you're an entrepreneur, struggles they go through, and how to use the human design as well to understand these struggles and channel your energy in the right direction. How did you overcome this obstacle?
That too goes into the chart. Like when you do your chart and you notice what type you are, there's 5 types. There's the manifesting generator, generator, projector, manifester, and reflector. We all have our gifts. And the thing is we're all here to support one another. We're not all here to be individualized and successful on our own. We're really here to support one another and create alignment within working together. So when building my business, at first I did all the things everyone said. Oh, get yourself out there. Make sure you're seen and heard. Make sure you're on social posting all the time. Do like all of those things. And I felt like this resistance. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this work and it's so hard and nothing's happening. What is going on? And then when I found my strategy, which as a manifesting generator, it's waiting to respond. So what that means is you get an idea, you ask for guidance in, okay, what is my next right step? And then you wait for things to show up to you in your external world. So what that could look like is maybe an email comes, maybe a podcast comes, maybe someone asks you to be for wanting to be a client. So you wait for things to show up to you. Then you respond. And that creates the ease. So what happens when you tune into your strategy is you actually are more successful in being of service to people in your business. You have more time in your life. You're not getting down on yourself because nothing's happening. And you're able to have that work-life balance so that you are able to live and be of service. And it's even funny because sometimes, we get so wrapped up in the doing that when we're not doing a lot, we kind of question, like, am I doing enough? How come, I'm kind of just relaxing too much? But then when you look at it and say, oh, I'm relaxing, but I have 6 new clients that just reached out to me and 3 podcasts. I am doing a lot, but it's easy because I'm in alignment. It doesn't have to be hard. And that's where it can help entrepreneurship a lot, even in small businesses, the group dynamics too.
How can we understand our own energetic levels? Because we have so much, everyone has different energy level, but some days, like you just said, you might sit back and say, oh, am I really doing a lot, or am I doing less? How can we tune in using your human design to try and understand our energy level?
Yeah. So each different type has a different energy level. So type is very important. Once you know your type, then you understand, okay, generator, manifesting generator, we have lots of energy for work. We love to work. When we are inspired, we will work forever. The projector needs lots of self-care. So if they can work like 4 hours, but then need 20 hours off so that they can be invited into other opportunities. So self-care is priority for them. Manifestors are initiators. So they're the only ones that can actually receive an idea and initiate the process right away. That's 9% of society is a manifestor, 9%. And then reflectors are the ones that reflect what's going on in the environment. So if there's a reflector in your presence and they're not happy or thriving, then the environment is not thriving, the workplace is not thriving. So you're able to see what type you are first, so you know what energy you are, and you can start making those choices. If you're a projector, okay, I need to rest more. I need to make sure that I'm taking self-care as a priority. If I'm a generator, manifesting generator, I need to be working, but I need to be inspired by my work. If it's draining me, it's not right work, you know? And a manifestor, if they get the initiation and they initiate the process, it's wonderful, but they don't have the energy to fully create the whole process. They need other people to support them because they get tired as well. So it's all about learning your energy first and then starting with awareness of your energy and starting to choose in alignment with your type. And that starts to create the ease.
It's truly amazing. And you do a lot of work around women. Why, you're really passionate about women entrepreneurs, the professionals, on their energy and awareness of self. Why women?
Oh my goodness, it's because I hated myself for so long. Honestly, I struggled for so long, not loving myself, questioning myself, not being good enough, having to prove myself. And it's like when you finally are able to see those things in your chart, you're able to, first of all, accept yourself and love yourself. That's part of who you are. Like the inadequacy part for me is a theme also in my life. So you know what? I feel inadequate a lot, but that's part of my theme and that's part of who I am. That's okay. I'm not going to judge, So I think I just love supporting women because I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is in school with kids and girls. And, if I can help someone love themselves before the age of 40, then I am so happy.
I like that. Before the age of 40, I have to ask, why before the age of 40? What happens after 40? Is there any reason?
Well, I just know that I did a lot of hard work and struggle for so many years, and if I can help someone that's 20 or someone that's 18, that's just beginning their life and they can have like this beautiful life, then that fills me.
That fills me as well. And I'm so super glad that you are doing this amazing work and helping us to understand the energetic level. Before I let you go, Miranda, I have to ask you, anyone who's looking to understand the human design, understand this process for themselves, how can they get in touch? And what is your hope for other women who are struggling out there, in desperate marriage, in abusive relationship, not realizing what their full potential? What would you tell them?
Well, you can reach me at miranda-mitchell.com. And I do offer a free chart. So if you want your chart done, you can enter in your birth date, birth time, and birthplace. I run your chart and I send it with a short video on typing strategy. So you can go there. And I just want to say too, my new website just launched today.
So
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And the reason that, and social media too, obviously on Instagram and Facebook. But those will be in the show notes, correct?
Yes. And what would be your message of hope to all the women who might be struggling? What would you say to them?
Yeah, my message to you is you deserve the absolute best. You really do. And of course, we all struggle with who we think we should be. But we truly know when we look within who we truly are. So you do deserve the best. You do deserve to make impact. And you are someone and you are here for a reason.
Miranda Mitchell, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you, going through the human design, helping us understand our energy level, because a lot of us, I mean, we do things and we question ourselves. Why am I always tired? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing enough? Not realizing that's linked to our build and how our mind sees things and how we approach things. And I thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.